This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have a KENMORE gas dryer that isn't heating very well. It does heat up a little bit, but it doesn't get the clothes very dry. And we're going to check a couple things. So I'm going out to the back to feel the amount of air coming out of the vent. And the air was pretty strong, and it was warm, but the heat didn't last very long. And that's probably because these primary and secondary coils need to be changed. So I unplugged it using a standard head screwdriver to pry back this little clip that's about 3.5 inches in from the left outside, using the standard head screwdriver to press down. And I'll do one over on this side too, about 3.5 inches in from the right. Once I get this panel off, I can get to those primary and secondary coils really easily, and they're fairly inexpensive. So here they are. I just have to take out 2 Phillips head screws to take these out to replace them. It's really easy. Kind of hard to get a screwdriver in there, so I'm going to use this angle tool that makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to press down the Phillips head bit into that screw and then zip it out with the drill. If you had a short shanked screwdriver, you could do it by hand too. Just zip them out, the one closest to you, and then there's one away from you by about 2 inches toward the back of the dryer. I'm going to get that one. I'll put my palm down on top to give it downward force and then zip that one out, and then I can take the bracket off. Once the bracket's off, I can lift the 2 coils off. They're just solenoids that create an electromagnetic field that lift up on a pin. This is a little bracket that holds it on. So once the bracket's off, you can just lift them right off. When the big one comes off, you might notice a little round metal piece here, and that round metal piece has to go back on. It's going to go on the pin closest to you, and that's the one that'll it's like a spacer that will go on the fatter of the 2 solenoids. So this is the skinny one. I'm going to put on it has 2 electrodes. I'm going to put that one on first. Here's the bigger one, and these terminals are down toward the bottom of the solenoid, and the skinny one, they're toward the top. We can see there's a difference between the two. So the skinny one goes on first, furthest away from you. And we also see have these little plastic tabs on the top of the solenoid, and they're used to help index the bracket on top. The bracket has little holes in it, and those little plastic tabs fit into those holes. So you can see the little holes on this one. So you get into position, kind of wiggle the solenoids around, the gas coils around until they fit into those little holes. And then I'll go ahead and just add those 2 screws in. This is a very common part that lasts probably about 4 or 5 years before they start to fail. And when they fail, the customer will notice that the clothes do get a little bit dry, but not as dry as they should. And one thing that can cause that is a dryer vent tube that's getting kind of full of lint. This one, however, had a really good airflow. So then your next suspect is these gas coils. And again, they're pretty cheap. We'll put a link in the description below, so it's really easy to order. I'm also, while I have it open, I'm going to remove this cowling here, the filter housing, so I can clean out some of the lint in there. So I'm using a 1/4 inch driver to remove 2 screws. And then I can pull the cowling right off. I can see in the blower fan that there's some lint in there. I want to get all that out of there too, because that limits the airflow. So we get all that out. I'm going to reach in and get all this lint out of the cowling area where the filter sits. And I'll reach in and get some of that fur and lint out of the cabinet too, because that can cause a fire. So whenever you do these kind of procedures, it's good to clean up any lint that you see in the cabinet or in the filter housing. It's normal for this stuff to build up, but it does limit the airflow, which inhibits how well the dryer can do its job. So I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff. Looks like a lot of dog fur probably got built up over the years. But that stuff can actually catch on fire, so you want to get rid of it whenever you get the machine opened up. And this machine has that really easy bottom panel that comes off that makes it really easy to get in there and do some cleaning. Make sure you have it unplugged while you're doing this, because there are some live wires in there that can give you a zap when you're working on things, so always unplug it. I'm just getting all that lint out of the blower wheel. And this little thing here is the thermal fuse. If your dryer doesn't heat at all, that's probably just burned out, and those are really cheap. You can just replace it easily by taking out a couple of Phillips head screws. But this one did have heat, just not enough heat, and that's due to the primary and secondary gas coils. So we're just putting the cowling back on, add a couple 1/4-inch screws, put the filter back in, and then we're going to do a flame test. So if the dryer's cold and you turn it on, you should get a flame that lasts about 3 minutes. If you get between 2.5 to 3.5 minutes, that's really good. If it's under 2.5 minutes, it just can't generate enough heat to really dry the clothes. So here's the igniter glowing, and then in a couple seconds we'll see a big flame. And that's when you want to start your countdown. You can use a stopwatch. There's the flame. And we should see that flame for anywhere between 2.5 to 3.5 minutes. If it goes beyond 3.5, that's fine too. Like I've seen these go up to 4 minutes. If the flame cuts out early, it can be a sign that the solenoids are weak and need to be replaced, or it could be a sign that the dryer vent tube is plugged and it's getting so hot that the thermal cutout shuts off the flame, which is pretty common. But this one did really good. It got up to beyond 3 minutes, and that's super good. So that is a cured dryer. We're just going to put the bottom panel back on. It's going to sit on a couple of clips, and then we're going to push it shut at the top, and we are done. So another successful repair, and a dryer that'll probably last and work really well for another 4 or 5 years. There's the model number up there. And the filter looks pretty good. Thanks so much for watching our video. We really appreciate your support. And when you get a chance, please press the subscribe button below so you can be subscribed, and also the notification bell so we can send you more videos about appliance repair. Please also give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If you really liked the video and it really helped you, please press this new applaud button and you can show your support and also get a nice clapping hands for your video. Thanks again.